They say some places hold memories, not in photographs or files, but in the walls themselves. What they don't say is, some memories refuse to stay buried. Chapter 8. Return to the Hollow. 3 weeks had passed since Eliza last set foot in Hollow Creek. She tried to move on, found a small nursing job in a rural clinic, took up jogging, tried therapy, but none of it worked. Every night she dreamt of room 633, of Daniel Harker's hollow eyes, of whispers behind doors that shouldn't exist. Then one morning she received a package, no return address. Inside was a hospital key card, her old badge. But now it read, Level B3 access granted, and with it a note, written in the same red ink, from the photo. They're watching, but they left a back door open. There was no choice. She rented a car, drove back to Hollow Creek. It was a foggy Sunday evening. No staff, only 2 sleepy guards at the desk. She wore a hoodie, her old scrubs, and a face mask. Nobody looked twice. Her hands trembled as she approached the east stairwell. The elevator didn't go to B3, but the badge scanner did. Beep. Green light. Door unlocked. Chapter 9. The hidden wing. She descended deeper than she'd ever imagined the hospital went. Past sub-basements, water pipes, and the morgue. Then she saw it. East B3. Experimental wing. The hallways were pristine, untouched by time. Bright white, sterile, humming with silent power. Security cameras tracked her every move, but no one stopped her. Door after door, she found abandoned labs. Half-finished charts, surgical instruments, MRI machines fused with refrigeration units, cryochambers, brain scans, dozens of them, all labeled Project Halo, Subject DH. Daniel Harker wasn't the only one. There were files on others. Subjects, A through G, but each one marked failed. Neural fracture. Unstable temporal loop. Only subject H, Harker, was labeled stable monitor only. Then she found the observation room. Monitors lined the walls. Dozens of live feeds, some from normal patient rooms, and some from places that didn't exist anymore. One showed room 633. Daniel was still there, awake, staring directly into the camera. And he whispered something Eliza couldn't hear, but she could feel it in her spine. Chapter 10. The janitor's key. Suddenly she heard footsteps. Panicked, she ducked behind a file cabinet as a man entered, an old janitor pushing a cart. But not just any janitor. It was Lewis, the same man who warned her about the wheezing in the walls. He didn't look surprised to see her. Figured you'd come back, he muttered. They always do. He handed her a rusted brass key. This opens the containment chamber. No one's supposed to go down there. But if you want answers, that's where he's waiting. Eliza stared. You knew about him? He nodded. I clean the halls. I see the shadows. I hear the voices. I don't ask questions anymore. Then he turned and walked away. Chapter 11. The loop. The key fit a door at the far end of the corridor, unmarked, sealed with bolts. She entered a cold chamber. Walls of glass revealed cryopods. Most were shattered. Inside, remains. Others flickered with weak blue light, faces frozen mid-scream. At the center, Daniel's pod. But he wasn't frozen. He was sitting upright. And he spoke. You finally came back. Eliza approached cautiously. What are you? A mistake, he replied. A success. A curse. He pointed to a console nearby. Screens glowed with neurological charts. They thought they could hold consciousness in a time loop. Suspend. Death. Keep the soul on pause. I was their proof. But time doesn't like to be held. He looked down, then back at her. You've been here before, Eliza. You always come back. What do you mean? This is your 3rd time. You don't remember the others, but I do. He lifted a file. Inside, her own handwriting, her signature, A photo of her, in a lab coat. You weren't just a nurse. You were one of them. You helped design the project. The room spun. Chapter 12. Glitch in the mind memories crashed in. Fragments of sterile meetings, trial signatures, Daniel screaming as the sedation failed. She had been a researcher. She had signed off on the procedure. But something went wrong. Her conscience shattered. She couldn't live with what she'd done, so they wiped her, implanted her with a new identity, made her forget, made her a nurse. They loop us both, Daniel said, over and over. Every few years they reset me, and you. Different faces, same ending. Until now. This time, you remembered. The ground shook. They know you're here. Chapter 13. Break the loop. Eliza backed toward the exit. What do I do? Daniel looked at the pod's mainframe. End the loop. Kill the machine. Let me go. But if I do that, I'll die. For real this time. And so will the memory of all of this. She hesitated. He nodded slowly. Please. She ran to the main console, entered the override code from the files. The machine whined. Red lights blinked. Warning, system collapse imminent. She looked back at Daniel. He smiled for the first time. Thank you. Chapter 14. Collapse. The corridor began to disintegrate, walls flickering like static. Sirens blared. Lights died. She sprinted through the chaos. Doors melted into concrete. Cameras burst into flame. She climbed the stairs, heart pounding, chased by the echo of her own footsteps. She emerged into the main hospital just as the power went out across the entire city. The hospital backup generators never kicked in. The screen behind the front desk flashed once Project Halo. Terminated all subjects. Offline all records. Erased Chapter 15. The new nurse, 3 days later. Hollow Creek was officially shut down. Electrical failure. Gas leaks. Government takeover. No trace of Daniel. Or Project Halo. Or Eliza's employment file. She changed her name. Moved out of state. Tried to forget again. But sometimes, just sometimes, she wakes up with a file on her table. Patient, Daniel A. Harker, room 33. Condition, unknown, and behind. Hershey hears the soft, steady sound. Beep, beep, beep. See you next time, Nurse Grant.